Okay, thank you. We'll take questions at the end if we have time, but to say in the interest of catching up some time. Now, James Davies, Chairman, Calsonic Kansei Europe, a view from a Japanese company.
I've been really squeezed in my at this point in time. Okay, we're a traditional Japanese company. We've got a set of slides. There's a lot more in the takeaway for you today than we'll be able to explain. So we'll go through these slides briefly. Traditional Japanese company. Am I going to do something here? Oh, right, I'm with it now. Roughly about $10 billion globally, 100% automotive, operating in about 17 different countries with most of the OEMs. Within Europe itself, the headquarters for the European operations is in the UK. Klaus, who did very well, it's Llanelli. And the tech center and the R&D is also in the UK. But we have a balanced manufacturing footprint in Eastern Europe, Southern Europe, and now this year we've just opened our new operation in Russia. Also, again, supporting most of the car OEMs in Europe. Growth is something we're going to focus on. Now, these are the products first. We're operating at a sort of module level, a cockpit and front-end module, exhaust and compressors, but within that is not simply that we're an assembler, but we have added value manufacturing within the UK, and we try to make that within the different regions as well. The future of the technologies, we do have 5 to 6 distinct product groups, but when we look at innovation and technology, very clearly looking at the end customer benefit and value for the end customer itself, we can quite clearly see that the different technologies or the different product groups are having to come together with the interaction and integration of systems and fluids today. So the direction for us is to bring these different technologies together. Now I'm just going to take a little, I'm 26 years in the automotive industry. I've discovered today I'm quite young still in the automotive industry. 26 years, I look back at that and sort of remembering the days of Mr. Lopez and a few others. I looked at the purchasing trends and philosophies that we've been through in the last three decades or so. We had the big globalization of the customers and the loss of decision makers within the UK. That was a dramatic effect during the 80s. And the 90s was a bit of a mix between two things. New doors opened up where global platform sourcing meant that you had big opportunities to go for big projects. The great days when the Deutschmark and the franc meant that the sterling was doing extremely well against them for export itself. And then we went into the year 2000 and the word LCC became a couple of different definitions, but it affected so much of the sourcing policies to the point that purchasing VPs and directors were actually walking around with one KPI, which was what percentage LCC have I sourced on this vehicle rather than true cost itself. But we have seen that change again. And the dramatic changes of the last few years have been the fact that supply chain robustness means that, as Klaus has already said, we need to make in the region that we are selling much more. Massive instability of FX, and every month I visit to Japan to talk about FX losses throughout the world itself. And then finally, this huge change that we've talked about for a long time, which is total delivered cost, not just being the piece cost and the logistics, but all the effort and resources we need to put into the full supply chain to actually get parts across the world is actually very ineffective and very inefficient itself. So our customer is telling us, competitively make in your market, protect the supply chain, manage your risk, and conserve your cash. We'd have known that 3 or 4 years ago, we wouldn't have perhaps had so much on the ships at that time. Why is CK continuing, therefore, to invest and grow in the UK? Well, there are a number of different factors. We can't cover them today, but it is people, it is cost. We must be competitive at the cost level, the cost of labor level. It is the customer, particularly in the UK. Having now the right product for the market means that we have great volume going forward. Great news this morning from Biz on the 3 billion extra opportunity of the supply chain within the UK in the next few years itself. Not only the right volume and the right customer product, but also we have a relatively stable economy, and then the support infrastructures that the government, academia, and industry are trying to put together to ensure that we have the right mechanisms in place to give the right level of support for R&D and investment. Now that is, part of that is the fact that for the Regional Growth Fund, Calsonic Kansei UK has been awarded significant support for its next new product and capacity within the UK itself. I want to say this one thing here, because it's not just for the UK. Here, this is about setting up the UK as a competitive supply chain, not just for the UK, but to be competitive in Western Europe for export as well. So this is not just for the UK. CK UK is investing to export. And recently, over the last 12 months, we've been successful in doing that, in winning business in France, in Spain, and in Germany itself, even against the competing company that we have in Romania at this point in time. Yes, we have a past of a hollowed-out supply chain, but we currently have the position and the conditions for success in the present and in the future itself. And so CK is trying to engage and be prepared and ready and committed to what it needs to do within this region to ensure that we have added value manufacturing within the UK itself. Yesterday, as part of the supply chain group, we had one of our work streams, and we were looking at it. What is CK roughly doing as regards turnover at spend level within the UK? And interestingly, it was very similar to JCB's. It's only 30%. So the additional $3 billion opportunity that Biz has announced this morning is only part of the story. There's still a significant amount of opportunity for the current spend and commodity within the UK. That's why CK will continue to invest in added value component and material conversion facilities within the UK in the next few years. Messages to the government. I'll keep it simple. Just be consistent. Stop changing things, people, mechanisms. Just do the same thing. Just when we think we understand how to work with you, you change the name or the people or the system, and we're confused again. So just be consistent throughout the years on that one. For the UK industry, or if you're part of a multinational like myself, let's stop being modest and slightly embarrassed as we sell Great Britain. I visited this year Korea, India, Morocco, Russia, Brazil, and a few other different places. They are absolutely adamant that the investment should come there. And sometimes we are a little too apologetic in the way that we come across in encouraging people here. And if you are new or overseas or looking for a business within the supply chain today, then come and see, engage with us in the different, meet the buyer, meet the engineer, or the different summits and forums to make sure that there are full opportunities for you to come and see what we have as an opportunity within our supply base or how it works with an alternative supply base itself. Thank you.
Thank you, James. I'll say we've passed the allotted time for coffee, so we won't hold you back. It started a bit late there, so I think we're all right. If anyone has a burning question, if they'd like to raise it. Otherwise, I would just have summed that up on behalf of the supply chain group and thank the fellow presenters for their sessions. It's a competitive market. It's a global market. We all know that. We all work in it. But actually, we think the UK is a great place to be, and largely it's down to people. I think you heard in all the presentations, it's about the people, and the UK can really do very well. So thank you very much for your attention, and thank you, fellow speakers.